Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another week's episode of Tactical Thursday. I can't explain how insane this week has been, so you can see we got a little bit of a weird setting for this week's Tactical Thursday. The support, everything that I've had thus far, it all comes from you guys, which is allowing me and makes me feel comfortable producing this content to you guys. This week we're going to talk about grip. What does the handgun feel like in our hands? I want to be able to know down to the smallest detail what it feels like to hold that handgun in my hand. There's so much that incorporates grip, you know. How do I position my hands on the handgun? How far do I put my hand up on the grip? You know, all that stuff is incorporated in, and even to the point of how hard do I squeeze? Well, let me get into that real quick, and we'll talk about just the basics to handgun grip to hopefully will help you guys control that firearm better when you're out at the range as far as recoil and all that. So let's go ahead and get into it. You can see here I got the Glock 19 again. The weapon is clear. Now, on the Glock 19, one thing that's awesome about any firearm that you have, I'm really comfortable with holding Glocks. That's mostly what I've shot between the Glock 19, the Glock 21, the Glock 43. So with that being said, you have your hand grip where the on the Glock or the whatever firearm that you have, depending on your right or left, you want to get a firm grip on that. And that means getting this V that's in your hand here, you actually want to get that V as far up into the grip as you can. When you grab, you don't want it to be super tight. You know, you don't want it just firm enough to be a firm handshake, and that should do. Once you got your hand far up on the grip there, you want to make sure that your fingers can easily reach the trigger there. Now, a lot of people are going to say, which you'll see some photos here, where do I put my finger on the trigger? You know, is it at the first knuckle? Is it right out on the tip? Or is it in the center on the pad of my finger? Now, where you want to have it in the center on the pad of your finger. You don't want to be too far in. That'll cause you to pull the gun right. Too far out will actually have a tendency to have you pull it as well. Right in the center, you want to find that leniency, and that's where you want to sit. Now, with that being said, once you get the fundamentals of getting your hand on there in the position that it needs to be, again, we do not have our finger in the trigger well until we are ready to engage or shoot a target. At that point, we will put the finger into the trigger well. Now, once you do that, you're going to mirror that with your other hand. So I'm going to flip it around here. So you can see on the handgun here, you're going to have this big like L shape right here. Now, if I take my support side hand, put it into the shape of an L, and I'm basically going to put my hand into that spot. The pad, your support side hand, will set right in there. So I'm setting that in that spot, again gaining more contact on that. Now I wrap the bottom three fingers around the firearm, thumb's going to go along the top, and I take this last one, it'll actually bring around, and you'll see on this side, there's almost a little nook and cranny where the index finger can sit into. So now that I've gripped that around, this is the thumb over thumb method that I'm going with here, where you actually can see that my left support hand thumb is running down the side of the firearm. I'm not way up here trying to stop the slide or anything like that. I'm not way down here. I'm running it right along on the Glocks. It's a plastic material where you're actually running your thumb around, and my strong side thumb is sitting right there on top. Now, when you go to extend, I'm in that position that we just talked about, and I extend the firearm out where I'm going to gauge my finger is coming to the trigger well, gaining my sight alignment, which will be talked about in a video upcoming, but I'm gaining that sight alignment. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is the firearm, when there's recoil, is always going to take the path of least resistance. So in this case, if I'm holding it like so, and I give it a path to leave, then the firearm will leave that path. So in this case, if I were to fire at the range and you were to see the recoil of the firearm, the gun's going to want to come up and to the left. Why? Because there's nothing supporting it on this side. You have support on your strong side, but you have no support on your rear side, or excuse me, your support side hand. So by putting your support side hand in there, I'm actually compensating for the recoil to then have a force pushing back against it to keep it down range. Now when I extend out and extend down range, my support hand is actually pointing towards the target. I'm pointing that hand where I want to shoot towards, locking out this arm. Some people will say you keep it bent. A lot of that's personal preference. For me, I've found that if I lock my support side and I have a slight bend in my strong side, I have a tendency to be able to keep that gun pressed on target shot after shot after shot. So ultimately that's up to you guys and your preference on that. So to do a quick recap, you got your firearm here, okay? Your strong side hand, right or left, high up into the grip, okay? When you grab the firearm, nothing stronger than like a normal handshake. I shouldn't be squeezing the hell out of this thing or just lightly grabbing onto it because I'm scared. So get a firm grip on the firearm. Your support side hand, remember, pad of the hand, make that L shape right into the open part of the grip here, setting your pad of your hand in there, wrapping these four around, and you can see on this side that index finger is kind of coming right into that crevice there, wrapping around, thumb runs along the side, strong side thumb, drop it down on top, and you're extending out, and that is your grip ultimately. And what you're doing is you're pressing into the target, continuing to press that firearm into the target. I hope you guys got that little bit of a just video as far as grip. Again, I want to apologize for not being out on the range and being able to show you guys exactly the full thing. I wanted to get a video out this week. I've just been so busy, so swamped with work and everything like that. I wasn't able to actually get out there and do a full demonstration of everything, but at the same point, I wanted to get you guys out there, and I hope it did a little bit of justice there, and you can see maybe later on we can get into a full review or something like that of grip further down the range. If you guys have further questions, we can get into that. Other than that, I want to thank you guys again. If you guys like this Tactical Thursday, or there's something that you think you would like to see more, again, this is the bare minimum. I'm just teaching the fundamentals now. There's going to be a lot to come, where we're going to actually start incorporating a bunch more tactical type stuff into the channel. So know that for the people out there that maybe think, oh, I know how to do all this, I know I've set up my way of doing things, what works for me, keep doing what you're doing. If it's working, do it. This is for the people that maybe just learning, don't know how, but yet at the same time they want to learn. So thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Please, please, please pass this on to your friends and family, because that's what this channel's for, is to teach the everyday person what it's like to ride dirt bike, be in the woods, have fun, shoot guns, do all the cool stuff that you want to do and most people are passionate about. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next week on Tactical Thursday.
Moto is my motivation, so gas up for that rider's anthem. Running with the guy to get a first play, can't see me. Tripping now, I'm undefeated. Did the boy get first? Yeah, no, don't think so. Still ride KTM till I go. 24/7, we blowing that smoke, cause my goons ride.